Beautiful. Okay, so in the studio today, guys, we got Louis Davis Jr., who is the owner of OnSight 253 Fitness. He also runs OnSight Bullies. Multifaceted man. But today we wanted to bring him and kind of talking about, first and foremost, this is our first time meeting, so I'd like to kind of go from the beginning and get a little backstory, introduce myself to you as well, and then we'll see what led up to where we're at now, and then we'll see how we're going to pull through it on the other end. How's that sound?
Sounds good, bro.
Beautiful.
Yep. We got a toast we do around here. You ready?
Yes, please.
So, you ready? Yep. So we go, I'm not above you. You got to repeat after me. I'm not above you.
Not above you.
I'm not below you.
Not below you.
I'm right by you.
Right by you. Beautiful. I like that.
Stole it from E40.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think I seen a post on there, something you were just recently doing that. I was like, oh, that shit's hard.
Yeah.
All right, sweet. So, born and raised here in Tacoma?
Right on. Yep.
Is that where you were?
Absolutely. I went to Jefferson, and then I went to Truman.
Jefferson Elementary?
And then Truman right down the street, Wilson.
Yeah. Okay, I was a Mason kid, so.
Yeah, I didn't really like
that
too much.
I got some stories about how we felt about Truman, too.
That's cool.
I'm sure you were gone by then, and I'm sure the statute of limitation is up, hopefully. But
it should be.
If you guys remember having to buy some new windows for that main corridor,
I did hear about that.
Me and a couple buddies may or may not.
But I heard about it. But it happens, bro. It happens.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. Charge it to the rivalry.
What else are you going to do with 12-year-olds in school pride? I don't think it had anything to do with the school. I think we were just 12-year-old kids with rocks and close to glass. That's usually about how that shit goes.
Stuff, man. It's supposed to happen.
So, and then you said you went to Wilson as well?
Yep.
Play sports or anything like that?
A little bit. I dabbled.
Yeah?
A little bit.
You look like it. What sports did you play?
I played football, basketball, ran track.
Okay, so everything essentially, right?
Yeah.
Did they have like a wrestling team at Wilson?
They did. What was his name? Jake. We had a couple state wrestlers like champions.
Oh, that's right.
Jake, he went to Truman.
Long hair, Hawaiian kid?
Yeah.
Yep.
He was filthy.
Dude, he was buff as hell, too. He was, that's
right.
Younger
than me. He might have been your age bracket.
He was a year younger than me.
So he might have been, a
year he was a
me.
killer.
He was not to be played with. Yeah, he went on and did his thing.
Really?
Yep.
I remember he was working at like Planet Fitness for whatever, like a month or something. I'm guessing in between whatever else he's got going on, but dude, that's awesome.
And then we had a female just now because I was coaching recently. Our team manager won. I don't know if she won state, but she went to state. Female. She's gonna kill me. Her name's not coming to me, but
what sport? Wrestling?
She was a female wrestler. And she was doing her thing.
Again, probably not someone you want to mess with.
You never know, bro.
It's so funny. I've never had. I think I did maybe like 2 weeks of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Other than that, I've never done any training, no MMA, no wrestling, no weightlifting or nothing. And I used to think I was the shit, and now I walk around and I'm like, how many people do you think I cross a day that could just kill me if they wanted to?
Honestly, you never know. That's why I come in peace. You never know who you.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
You never know. I mean, I'm confident in my abilities, but you never know who you're going to.
I keep the blicky on me, and hopefully it never has to show its face.
Yeah, right.
Because if it does, I did not react fast enough and get out of there. That's what my mindset is. You know what I'm saying?
You never know who you're running into, bro.
Okay. Yeah, and with like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, I don't know if you're like familiar, but a lot of those guys they're nerds, but they're assassin nerds.
Have you just? I watched the first half. Have you seen Mortal Kombat?
I haven't.
I watched the first 40 minutes. You seen it?
It's coming.
I mean, that's a childhood favorite.
Right.
There's some trained killers in the world, bro. There's some trained assassins.
It's a movie, right? It's not a series or nothing.
You don't remember Mortal Kombat when you was little?
Oh, I remember Mortal Kombat.
It's a movie. It just came out on HBO Max. It probably would have hit theaters. COVID.
Yeah. No.
Oh, it's cold.
Okay, sweet. I just my buddy hooked up his HBO Max on my TV, so we might have to get into that.
Yeah, see.
Sweet.
I like what you guys got. I like the setup, bro.
Yeah, dude, we're working with what we got. I appreciate that. Thank you, bud. Yeah.
I like it.
So we got a screen record all set up, so everyone will be able to see this, and
this is dope.
Yeah, it makes it really easy. So essentially, for those who don't know, this show is strictly dedicated to, shining a light on the best and brightest here in Tacoma. So it makes it real easy to bring up people's Instagram, show them, what they're up to, why we're feeling them, why we want to get the word out. So it definitely comes in handy.
Yeah, no, this is dope.
Sweet. So one of the main things that anyone who runs a business, I tend to gravitate towards those people.
Right.
So did you have like any specific influences or anyone who really sat you down and schooled you to why it's important to be an entrepreneur? Or was it something that came natural? Like, I just want to hear your story, honestly.
Right. I mean, right away, just growing up, I was always inspired. My favorite rapper is Jay-Z.
Okay.
You know, he's a hell of an entrepreneur, businessman. And then I had great examples. My oldest cousin, Marcus Trufant.
Okay.
He showed us a lot. So I've always been big on entrepreneurship and ownership and just doing your own thing. Had great examples. And then when I figured out my niche, I kind of just tried to run with it. Obviously, you know, Nipsey and things like that.
Right. So. It's funny. I have a very similar story. Well, no, I don't actually. The only thing we have in common is the music.
We probably got more in common than you think, bro.
Oh, yeah. You're probably right. No, but from the jump, like, I didn't listen to other people well. That's really what it was. I realized I'm kind of one of the people who has to learn the hard way. So I didn't listen to anyone, and I just kind of did what I was told, and that ended me up at the post office, which is, you know,
cool.
About as cool a job as you can get. But It didn't take me long to realize there's no way I'm going to be here for, 40 years or whatever. But what really helped realize that was, like, it's one thing, and I say this, it's one thing to roll around to Nipsey and Currency and roll up a blunt and smoke that. But, like, if you got your headphones in, noise cancellation, 8 hours a day, and you actually like dissect what they're saying, like, and not even the good rappers, the ones that really inspired me were the bad rappers that ended up on my phone, and I'm like, if this motherfucker can do it, I can figure out something. I don't know what it is, but as long as you don't quit, you'll never fail.
It's a message in music, man. I'm heavy on music, especially who I listen to. I mean, I dissect. I know what I'm getting out of when I play a certain person, but, you know, just like you said, people like Nipsey and Jay and, you know, the G Herbos of the world and Larry Jones.
I'm glad you said that.
You know,
tapped in.
Yeah. No, they're entrepreneurs. They just speak about me speaking about it. I do it through fitness, and you know, they speak about it through their lyrics. So,
right.
Yeah.
Shit, G Herbo is one too.
Man.
Like, I remember, so he, I think, is a year or two younger than me, and I, like, when I first started. And what was it?
Yeah, Herbo's young. He's like 20.
Yeah, Welcome to Phaso. What came after Welcome to Phaso? Kobe? Something about Kobe? I don't remember. But he had one tape that just like knocked me back.
I got onto him late because, you know, I train all these, I don't like to call them kids, they're young men.
Yeah.
So, you know, and I grew up in a different era. Like when I was coming out, it was like J. Cole, the warm up.
Yeah.
And things like that when I was in high school. Now they're on G Herbo and you know, BFD the Pac-Man, things like that. So, Herbo's hard though. Like he's hard.
You see that video of BFB beating up that dude?
Yeah, bro, that'd be wilding, man. It's a different world.
Oh, that had me dying. No, BFB. So, you know, I get a lot of people who tell me like, oh, because BFB works at the post office. I work at the post office, and
I think he retired. Did he retire? Or is he still doing it?
I don't know. He should though. I'll be honest. Like the post office is cool for what it is, but like, do not let the fucking post office stand in your way of like pursuing your music dreams. Like that shit'll be there. It's not going anywhere.
Right.
I don't share that same. The way I look at it is you should, you know, you have responsibilities as a man. Your 9 to 5 is there to pay bills. You should take advantage of the 9 to 5 to pay your bills until your side hustle pays your bills. Right. So I have a feeling his side hustle is paying his bills and a little extra.
It's a lot of views. Yeah.
It's probably time to let go of the post office.
I've played him enough.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's probably time to let that go, BFB. We ain't mad at you if you do. We get it. Yeah. We get it. Cool. So was OnSight Fitness like your first traditional business or kind of stab at getting after it?
Definitely. It was my first genuine business venture. I've done a couple other things before that, just, you know, little side things, but something that I genuinely was like, all right, it's either we're gonna knock it out the park or we're gonna strike out. Right. That was my first thing.
Either way, we're gonna take a swing at it though.
Yeah. You can't Joe Budden said you can't steal second base and keep your foot on first.
Yeah. I like that. That makes total sense. Okay, sweet. And so you just always been into fitness?
Yeah, I've been a gym rat since I was little. I mean, sports helped me a lot. I've always been, you know, an athlete since I was a kid. Gagne, Boys and Girls Club, soccer, baseball, basketball, football, everything. And I've always just been a gym rat. It's kind of like my release, you know. Some people, you know, rap or sing or box or whatever to vent, I like working out. It's like my release.
Right.
So, and I like seeing other people just feel good about themselves.
Right.
So it all kind of naturally blended together.
Yeah, I was always into sports. I was always athletic. I played baseball since I was like 2 or 3. And
I should have stuck with baseball. They're getting guaranteed money.
Yeah. No shit. That is, I don't have really any regrets in my life aside from baseball and like this sports like that. Like I let the weed take over and got distracted by chicks like everyone else does. But like that is my one. And here's the other thing. It was nothing but fun. There was no like two ways about it. I enjoyed it. It was fun for me. No one was in my ear saying you could do this for a profession. No one was in my ear saying like you could be in the best shape of your life. Like it was literally just I had a great time.
Right.
But
what position you play?
Everything. My main position was catcher, and I was a little dude.
I was a catcher too.
Shut up.
Yeah.
I got a good story for you. So this is one of my favorites. So
right.
we went and did a 14U tournament. Now I'm under 14, but we had a coach who liked to bring in the ringers, right?
Right.
So he's like, hey, hit up your homies. Like we need a couple of positions filled. So I call my buddy who's like 16. He drives himself to this tournament, full 5 p.m. And we're like, dog, we need you to shave and we need you to ditch the car. Like, you're supposed to be 14. You cannot be here, right?
And we need you.
So we got the big boy on our team. And then we end up going, and it was like, we went up against this like AA Navy team or something. Like, these dudes were all for sure like 18, 19, 20, like big men. These were men. Yeah. And I'm like, literally, we come out there, shake hands, and like, we're doing there's no coin toss in baseball. What, you just introducing the captains or whatever?
Baseball's super respectful. It's like you say the national anthem and all that.
Right.
Cap
yeah, I didn't get that message. Yeah. We walk up and I'm like, hey, can we get like an ID check or something? Like these are, this is not fair. Something's going on, and shit. Everything was cool. We got cleared to play, and so we're just.
Your ass busted?
I don't honestly remember. I think we did all right. But what I do remember is someone round in third. I'm sitting here waiting, and it comes in, and I catch it, and I go to like square up with him, and he drops his shoulder coming in, and this is much bigger dude than I am.
Right.
So I go even lower than him, clip him at the knees, flip him over my shoulder. He's out, and he gets ejected, and I'm like 95 pounds, and like the little dude. I'm like, God, that was like the highlight. That was the highlight. Flipping this big ass.
You said he's getting excited right now.
I love that story.
Right here.
That's my favorite story.
That's what's up. Yeah.
But I say that to say, I wish I didn't start. I probably wouldn't have had a problem started smoking weed at 13. I just wish it wasn't the only thing I got interested in at 13. You know what I'm saying?
Hey man, everything happens for a reason.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Sweet. So, okay. So I guess that brings us up to about right now. So, so you opened up. What was your opening day?
November 2nd, 2019.
Okay, and so you
might pass me an ice cube?
Yes, please.
I'd love to.
So you knew exactly what was gonna happen. You knew we were coming into it. I'm playing with you. I know.
Right,
dog.
bro. I wish.
Okay.
I wish I knew, bro.
So you get in November, and shit is looking sweet, right? Everything's lined up. Yes, please.
It was man, it was a day. To be honest, it was
coming out of the gate.
That was top 2 experiences of my life. The grand opening was crazy.
Yeah. Is this the grand opening?
That was a Halloween boot camp.
Oh, okay.
That was cracking too. That sold out in like probably 2 hours. It's somewhere on there. The grand opening video is pretty long. It's like 3 minutes.
Oh, okay.
But it was amazing. The mayor was there, the fire department, the police department. We was on Q13.
Yeah. No, I know I've been seeing you getting news coverage and everything, man. I'm just. It breaks my heart to see this shit. Okay, so for those who are unfamiliar, obviously, we're in 2021 now. We're about a full year into this. Yeah,
I'm on live too.
Beautiful. Thank you, boys.
Yeah.
We'll get this all nice, cleaned, and cut up for the people. So obviously, COVID comes in, and that just ruins it. So. Please, because like I said, I do not have my own traditional business up. I did not necessarily take it in the shorts like a lot of people did, but I would love to hear what your thought process was, how the news came down, what all that meant for you, what all you had to do to readjust and, stay within these guidelines, just what it takes to keep your business afloat.
I mean, it was. I was just essentially like everybody else. I'm watching it on TV in the gym unfold. We training, you hear about it, overseas and things like that. And then I specifically remember it happening. The NBA player caught it. It was a couple of athletes. Oh yeah. A couple celebrities and actors, and then boy from Jazz caught it.
Oh, okay.
Right, and then we're literally watching it in the gym training, and then boom! I think the next day we get the news like, "Hey, we're locking down. You guys have like 48 hours or something." So I'm seeing it happen in real time. And then so it goes from watching it overseas, seeing it on CNN, you watching it in the gym.
And so you don't, not to interrupt you, but you don't have anyone specifically telling you need to do this or that?
I'm watching it just like everybody else. I'm literally training, pushing the sleds, and we have a TV in the gym, and I see it. And I knew what was up, though. I mean, I'm not a dummy. Yeah. Once I seen it hit the NBA players, I'm like, oh, it's about to hit. And then I think we had like 48 hours to just shut it down. And then the rest was history.
And so that was it. It was just shut down.
We shut down March, whatever it was, and I was closed for like 5 months straight. And that's back when COVID first hit. So people were genuinely scared.
Right.
Because my mother is a CNA, my grandma was an RN, my aunt and all them. They in healthcare. So when COVID first hit, people were genuinely scared. So like when we tell you we shut down, like I'm locked the doors. We quarantining, Netflix, Hulu.
Right.
You scared.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we were being
2 weeks into 1 month.
We were being told 7, 8, 10%. People bodies dropping. Like I remember thinking, like, if we're talking 10%, that's 30 million people who are gonna die just in the America alone. Like no one knew what to expect. I remember I ordered an N95 mask off like it came from China from like the middle of February. Like I was tapped in and I'm like, an N90, I don't even know what this shit is. Like, no one knew what was going on. And then, the 2 weeks stop the spread. Like, this is, what was that?
15 days to
flatten the curve. There we go.
15 days turned into 5 months. I didn't reopen until August. So March, January, February, March, April, May, June, July. Oh, yeah.
And so in that time, all the gyms are closed, right?
Everybody. Yeah, the gym is the worst place to be. It's a cesspool for it.
But it's also the one place you can go to work on your immune system and
the irony, right?
Yes, which is what I really want to talk about because we all know what's out there to be scared of. We have heard that time and time and time again ad nauseum. But what they're not talking about is, because just like you said, when this first came in February, March, like no one knew what this was. No one knew what was going on. And I think that was the one and only time everyone was on the same page. We were all scared. We were all ready to do what it takes to, it's unknown. But then once it started rolling in and we started getting a little bit more data, there was never a time where any of these restrictions or anything were adjusted in order to, kind of reflect the new info we were getting in, especially anything on how to improve yourself. We're almost 2 years in, and I still haven't heard a single word on that, aside from, the people who go to the gym. Like, right. I can't imagine many of those politicians who are up there giving you advice on how to live a healthy life are regulars at a gym. I just haven't seen that. You know what I'm saying? I don't like blanket statements, so I'm probably wrong. That's I'm cool. Sure there's some out there. I'll rock with that one. But I don't like that. Okay, so I was doing minimal research coming into this because I wanted to get kind of an idea of what was closed down and what was open. Right. You know what was closed down? Any private funded contract. Any contracting that was privately funded. But you know what was open? Government funded contracting. Absolutely. Anything that put money in their pocket, it was running. You know what was open? Liquor stores. You know what wasn't open? AA meetings. You know what's open? The weed stores. You know what wasn't open? Gyms.
Get sharp.
This is what I'm talking about.
They don't want to hear that, though.
They don't want to hear that, and they're not going to talk about it, which is why I wanted to bring you on here. Not that I need you to, go off, but this is stuff I've been feeling about. Like, I get it when we don't know any better, but we know better now, and it's deliberate what they're doing to people. Now, I'm not going to, we could put the tinfoil hat on and we could go crazy.
Hey, My friends and family will tell you I'm a sharpshooter. I'm willing to talk about whatever. So
even without going crazy, in a best case scenario, like, what do they have to gain from keeping that information from us? It seems to me like they want us scared. They don't want this to go away.
It's just politics, man.
Yeah.
Like Jay-Z said, it's politics as usual.
That's true.
We shut down Pierce County, but I just came from, excuse me. You can shut down Pierce County, but I can get on a plane right now. Excuse me, I don't even need to get on a plane. No. I can drive to King County. I can get on a plane and go to Arizona, Texas, Florida, things of that nature, and they're not wearing masks. There's no cutbacks.
And if you're checking, their numbers aren't going crazy. They're,
So it's politics, man. I don't know what the grand scheme of thing is. That's why I'm not in that realm. But,
And I don't want to insinuate that there's some great cabal behind the scenes tapping there. I'm not ruling it out. Yeah. But I don't necessarily... When I hear people say I don't think the government is smart enough to keep secrets or any of those like kind of bullshit excuses for why a conspiracy theory could never come true, like I don't really buy into that. But I think politics as usual. What are politics after power? If you're not watching where this, power is getting distributed to, here's where I tell you it's not going to small business owners.
Oh, don't get me started.
No single way, shape, or form has the small business owner benefited from this in any way.
Take it a step further. If you're a small business owner and then you're a new small business owner, so they put out relief, things of that nature, $10,000, $20,000.
This
grants.
is the PPP loans,
right? PPPs and the Pierce County CARES Act, and But if you on paper, if you weren't in business for a year before COVID, you simply don't qualify because you have to show, I was making this much money, but then when COVID happened, I lost. But say you're like me or like these other restaurant owners or these bar owners that was like, hey, October, November, December, I finally got my ducks in a row. Let's open up my establishment. I don't know. COVID's about to hit in March. You simply get denied.
Right. So
and there's literally nothing for those type of businesses.
No, nothing. And that's what's insane. Like, okay, so when this lockdown hit, I was looking for a location as well. And so my business, essentially my business model is cramming 25, 50 people into a small room. It's an event space, right? So we're not exactly in the ideal climate for that. So luckily for me, I didn't go and invest my life savings and execute on this plan because you're exactly right. I'd be SOL, shit out of luck. And what's crazy is, so I started calling around to the SBA and seeing if they're doing any grants because I have to imagine shit is hurting right now. And again, I'm not a politician, but we all know that the small business owners is what moves the economy.
Facts.
So if you really want to get your city jumping again, recover from what's going on, you're going to be giving helping and funding and aid to whoever you can, especially these young guns who want to get out there and build something.
Let's get sharp.
But they're not doing that.
Sharp.
They're not doing that.
You're sharp. You're sharp. I like it.
I called them to try and figure out. I'm like, okay, I'm sure. So they have, right now in Pierce County, they have the shuttered venues, which is specifically for like what I do, event venues and stuff like that. And so I'm asking them, I'm like, hey, I got a super small barrier to entry. Like, this is kind of a win-win situation for everyone. It gets other local entrepreneurs up, ready, and busy and active and all this stuff. And I'm like, so are you guys offering anything to help me? He's like, SBA doesn't do that. Like, we're not helping nobody. Like, we'll get you. Because I was looking for a grant. And he was like, oh, we can do a small business loan. I'm like, well, motherfucker, I got my own credit. I don't need a loan from nobody. I'm looking for a grant so I can invest the money I do have into it and get this shit popping.
They don't hear that. Yeah, you're on the, hey, you're thinking, I've had many conversations with other business owners and small business and restaurants and gyms and pop-up shops. You're right on.
So here's another thing.
But you won't see your logic on the news.
No, never. That's why I'm doing this right here. That's why we're sitting on this because you're absolutely right. Again, okay, I'm 25. I don't exactly know if I'm gonna word this correctly because we're sitting on a couch bullshit, right?
Yeah.
But and now I'm gonna have a big ass brain fart and forget everything I was just talking about. What were we just saying?
You were,
Small business owners
yeah.
and navigating COVID.
Oh, look at my bullies.
I just had a fucking brain fart. I don't know. Okay. Oh yeah. Anyways. Okay. So here I'll jump to this. Right. So. This is okay. I'm right back on track. We're good. Just cut that last 15 seconds of me babbling.
Do you watch battle rap? Sometimes they forget it's hard. You get them and they forget it, and it comes back, bro.
So, it's kind of on the same page. Like, everything they're doing right now is in the name of safety.
Right.
Safety for others. Safety. I struggle to say safety for yourself because I don't hear them talking about anything. It's only about saving others. Everyone wants to.
The best thing I've seen is a meme. When you go to the airport, I don't know if you travel lately. They make you sit, stand 6 feet apart to check in. Mm-hmm. And then when we get on the plane, we sit in this close.
Right next to each other.
And
okay.
It was the best meme. It was like, answer this.
Here's
the logic. It's the best.
Yeah.
But as soon as I sit down and order, I can walk around.
Now we're
freely.
in a bubble. So I went and stopped at the sandwich shop. So I'll tell you right now, I don't wear a mask. If I walk in, and that's at this point, it is like you can call me an asshole, you can call me rude. I'm okay with that at this point.
Right.
At the beginning, I didn't want to be rude, but now, okay, so. I'm not big on just following rules because I was told to. If you can explain to me why I should follow your rule and it makes sense, then I'm on board. But if you give me an explanation of, well, this is how it's always been done, or this is, it's just because, you can bet your ass I'm not going to listen to you, and I'm probably going to tell you how dumb you are.
Respect it.
So we go to the sandwich shop, and they're like, hey, you need a mask. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I'm like, doing my order. And what was it? Oh, yeah. So I had to wear my mask, right? And I'm kind of bitching to my homie about it. I'm like, this is dumb, but we already placed the order. I just got to pick it up. And so we're standing over there. And so we have to stand in this waiting area with your mask on. There's nobody else in the whole thing, right? And so my buddy's like, oh, they sell beer here. And I'm like, oh, okay, we got a couple minutes. I'll grab a beer.
Right.
So now that I've purchased a beer, I can stand in that same area. Well, instead of standing, I can sit, and you can take your mask off. You're safe now that you have a beer. Mm-hmm. But if I didn't buy that beer, I had to stand in there with the mask on the whole time.
Right.
What the fuck is going on? And what irritates me more than anything is, why is no one else saying what the fuck is going on?
I think they are, but you just won't hear about it.
Okay, so why not? People, if you're saying what the fuck, let's talk about it. Let's figure out, because if you haven't fucking looked up from what's going on, if you, this is pent up.
You can see he's ready to let this out.
I've been trying to keep it level headed, but
he's ready to let it out.
Here's the real deal is, your business is under fucking fire. I don't have a business. If my business was up and it was going under the same thing, I would be up here 2-3 times as hot. I wouldn't have I'm trying to keep myself as level headed because I'm somewhat speaking on your behalf.
Right.
But this is fucking nonsense. How can you, if you can't, everything is so arbitrary. Why? What the fuck? What is a curfew gonna do? Does Corona come out to play at 10:30 at night?
I think it comes out at about 10:45.
Yeah, well, that's what I think they put it for 11, so they give you a little 15-minute room to dance with the devil.
Right after happy hour, bro.
And then so that's what irritates me. I
like this guy. I like it. Hey, man, trust me. I have the same sentiments, man.
And I feel bad because again, you got to deal with, I know you're, active online, and a lot of people are scared of the mob and what comes with that. You have to, and again.
I have zero fear.
Okay, good. Because this is what I want to get across. I'm looking in your camera, and I got my own cameras going, but you're taking precedent today. I don't want anybody's grandparents to die. Let me make that as clear as possible. But if your grandparents are at risk, they probably shouldn't be outside. And if they are, and they need to go out and do something, get them a mask that fucking works. Get them an N95 mask and have it properly secured. That will keep them protected and everyone around them protected as well. If you send your grandma out there with a fashion mask, a little cloth mask, I can't feel sorry for you, bro. We all know those don't work. They're not doing anything. So I say that in saying, I took over your podcast. This is mine now. I say that just to say, look, if you're still scared of the virus, which I'm not saying it's not real. I'm not saying people aren't dying from it. People are getting sick, but majority of them have comorbidities, number one being obesity. So if that is an issue, you can fix that. Most of these other comorbidities you can fix, especially if you go see my buddy here, Lewis, as long as his gym survives, the fucking Governor Inslee and all you motherfuckers, because here's what the deal is.
He's going in, yeah.
If all the gyms close, what happens? Everybody gets fat. He's
in the top. He's in the top five.
trying to be serious and keep my...
He'll tell you about that later.
Yes. If you close down all the gyms and all the young people who have only been in business for a year, you close down all the people who want to be an entrepreneur in your city, and you make it just more and more difficult, this city is going under. And I'm not only just economically, but we're going to have a ton of fat people here. Like, this shit's going to sink. California's going to float off into the ocean soon. We might be right behind them.
Keep going. Anything else?
I'm sure we got more, bro.
Get it off your chest.
I'm just getting loaded up.
Get it off your chest.
Okay, so we know this is all fucking nonsense. We know this is what did I tell my producer before he stepped in here? I'm going to try and watch my language this time.
Oh, yeah.
Load me back
That's
up.
out the window.
Help me.
So we know this is nonsense. We know there's not anyone on your side. What is
My double back.
what does the situation look like right now? What can people do to help? And how are you looking at kind of moving and shaking throughout this coming year?
I mean, in the current moment, we're technically closed. So I have a landlord that's not so,
Most landlords
yeah,
are not so generous.
He literally cut the power to our building on Thursday, so there's no power in there. So we have a GoFundMe out right now, just to kind of keep the situation afloat.
That link's right here.
And yeah, man, we're just trying, man. We're just trying to do everything we can in our power to keep what we had built afloat. Because this shit ain't permanent. Excuse my language. It's not permanent.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that we're gonna have to grow and adapt to. But everybody knows that our gym is bigger than it's not a gym. It's a community center.
Right, and it honestly, it looks like it's got the open bay doors and all that stuff.
Oh,
it looks like a fucking facility.
It's no other place like that. I know a lot of other business owners and gym owners, and
right,
fitness trainers and stuff. Our gym is a party. You come have a good time, you dance, you see pretty people, kids, women, fathers, athletes, whatever you want, social media influencers. And we just have a good time. So
yeah. I need you to open back up, bud. my ass got kicked out of Planet Fitness, so I haven't been to it.
What'd you do, bro?
Do you really want to hear the story? No, that's not true. Honestly, hey, I was respectful. Okay, so they brought some hoe shit to me, and I was respectful. I took it on the chin.
Hey, this dude is funny, bro. This dude is.
All right, you want the whole story?
You're like you're a hell of a podcast host. I watch Joe Budden and Drink Champs and
yeah. We talked about Drink Champs last week. All right, you want to hear the story? I think we told it on the last episode, but I'll keep it short. So, and you know what I'm talking about. All right, so I come into Planet Fitness now. I've called Planet Fitness Curves for Men since before COVID, a long time, bro, because I had issues there my first time getting in. Dog, this is crazy.
This is crazy. I like it. Keep it. Let me hear.
All right, so I come in and I've only had my membership. I just pulled around, got a second membership up in Maple Valley or up in the Covington one. Jason at Covington, you know who I'm talking about. So I come in there and I'm just doing my warm up. I'm just doing chin ups, pull ups, like vertical jumps, like just getting it in,
right?
Like working up a sweat, right? And so
yeah.
I'm doing my thing. I got the AirPods Pros on noise cancellation, listening to G Herbo or whoever, right? So I'm getting it in, and there's like these two ladies doing their little, aerobic warm up workout, whatever they're doing. I see them, TV's over here. I'm not talking to them or anything. But so I just warm up, and then from there I move my way over to like the squat rack and the bench press. It's all like whatever those machines are where everything's on the You know what I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking
Yeah, I don't know the name of it. Anyways, he comes over and talks to me. He's like, hey, this is the assistant manager. And then he brings up his little lackey with him. And he's like,
Oh, they got to bring a +1.
yeah. And so this kid's like 17 and he's like there for security backup or whatever. And I'm like, all right.
This sounds like how I got kicked out of 24.
Yes. So he comes up and he's like, hey, so first and foremost, I'm going to need you to pull your mask up over your nose. Okay, what else? And he's like, well, we had 2 ladies over there complain that you were grunting and yelling and throwing weights and stuff. And I'm like, well, I haven't touched a weight yet, but I had headphones in and I'm working out. So I probably grunted. I probably made noise. I probably said a curse word.
Right.
I was respectful. He's like, okay. And I'm like, okay, anything else? He's like, no, I just wanted to.
We're good.
Sweet. Finish the workout. I know he's got his eyes on me the whole time. I'm fucking busting my ass. I'm doing, PRs. I'm doing best. Like, I'm getting it in, sweating with this stupid fucking mask on my face. So,
which is extremely uncomfortable to breathe.
it is almost impossible.
Damn near.
It is almost impossible.
Not safe.
And then add on that, doing it silently is not ideal. You're not going to get a work. It's a curves for men. Right. So, I finish my workout and I take my mask off. And I'm halfway in the back corner. I still got my headphones in, and I just, I walk out. I'm on my phone. I'm done here. What are they going to do? Kick me out?
Probably.
Well, yeah. So they were like, I guess he was like, hey, you need you. I got my head. I ignored the fucker totally. I ignored the man totally.
There we go.
I'm trying to work. I'm trying.
We're getting there.
Patience reps, with me.
Reps.
So I get home,
Just need reps.
and then I get an email. Your membership has been terminated, yada, yada. I'm like, oh, this is some... And then I get a call from the dude. Now, I'm not super proud of the stuff I said to him, so I won't go on here and repeat it. But essentially, I told him,
We all have our moments.
hey, I know you're a fat slob who's never touched a weight in your life, but that does not give you the right to touch my weights while I'm pushing them around. It does not, and just all the shit. And I'm like, do you feel good about this? Like, this is some hoe shit. This is some hoe shit you're doing. And he's like, well, we never like losing a member. I'm like, well, motherfucker, you're going to have to call me one way or another. Why didn't you call me first before you send me some hoe ass email saying I'm terminated? And then we just, from there, I'm like, so essentially I said, hey, I've been here 2 months. I want every red cent back that I spent here. You can terminate me, but I want every penny back. And he's like, okay, well, I got to make the call and this and that. It'll be fine. I'm like, all right, I'll be there in 7 to 10 business days if you don't give me my money back. I got every penny back. So we good. I got 2 months of working out for free there. Yeah, we square. Jason.
You know what I'm going to ask him? Why would you go spend that when you could have had a membership?
That's what the fuck I'm saying. That was the only reason I was there was because it was $10 a month on some host.
Match.
And you know what else?
I don't know if we match in 10.
You match that? I don't give a fuck. I'll pay 40, 50, 60, whatever. If I can. Because here's the other deal. No shit. That's what I'm saying. Well, here's why. They provide you pizza on the first Monday of every month. They do. I think they do donuts or something else.
Free scoop of pre-workout. The barbecue truck guy pulls up every now and then.
That's cool. That's cool.
Depends on
but
what day you come at mine.
Yeah. Okay.
I feel like for what you pull up and what you may interact with, it's worth it.
Well, and here's the deal. Like like I said before, I was like when I was doing baseball and stuff, never once touched a weight. When I got high school. Freshman year, I failed PE because I didn't want to change into my swim stuff. Like Junior year, I got weightlifting and didn't know how to do any of it. So I either...
Weightlifting at Wilson where you were Howard?
Yeah. I didn't take the class. I bounced out. I think I'm still so skinny. So this was going to be my first time coming back around and actually start putting up some weight. And I was starting to feel good. I was like 2 months in and like... I got up to 2 plates on the squat. I got like 130 on the bench. Like, and I'm not a big dude, but like, I was starting to get it, and I was actually like starting to enjoy myself. And then this whole shit happened. So, and yeah. So thanks for letting me rant.
There we go.
Oh, okay. So,
So is this like while you're pulling this up? Is this popping up like while we're?
Yeah. We'll be able to show all this.
I used to work in AV at the casino at the Emerald Queen. So yeah, like what you're doing is dope. I like it. I'm familiar with all this.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah, Casey's been working. He's been working hard.
No, I was like, I had no business being there. They taught me everything, but yeah, this shit is dope.
No, that's good. We're trying to keep them on it. Like I said, we're trying to learn all the logistics and everything. I think this is what, like episode 5 or 6. Like, yeah, that's the other thing too.
It's the best way to do it, bro. It don't matter, bro. As long as you organic and like, I had no business model when I started my gym. I didn't put it on paper. I didn't go to school for it.
You didn't create a business plan or anything?
What? None of that.
I know. I had
an idea, bro. I had a passion for it, and I knew I could do it. Other than that,
so
what matters,
how many people who have never owned a business in their life told you should have a business plan?
Everybody that's never owned a business. Everybody that has master's degrees and.
If you didn't catch it, that was a trick question.
I've heard everything. You didn't do this.
Because I got the same thing. So for mine, like you can ask me any question, I got an answer to it. I just don't have it down on paper in a business plan. And so, the only reason I really started a business plan was because I was told by someone with a job that the SBA does grants. Now, grant is for those who don't know, the difference between a grant and a loan is you don't have to pay a grant back. So essentially, so I was started to put together my business plan so I could go ahead and present to the SBA and hopefully get a grant. Like I mentioned, I called them and they don't do that, so I stopped putting together a business plan. And now anybody who doesn't actually have a job that doesn't have the business of their own that I talk to about opening up my own business, that's usually like the first point of reference they have. So they all go to the business plan, and then I have to tell them like, no, I don't really have a business plan, but any question you have, I can answer.
Right. Jay-Z said everybody can tell you how to do it, they never did it. So,
yeah, no shit.
Or my grandma used to say, opinions is like assholes. Everybody has one. So yeah, no, bro. I've heard it all. I'm one of the few cats, and shout out to all my friends that I really grew up with. They went to college and got degrees and doing well for themselves. I was one of the few that I ended up dropping out, and I ended up doing my own thing. I'm one of the only owners that I know. So there's if you have a niche or you have a gift or like you like this type of stuff and you're clearly gifted at being able to speak, and if you got something, you got something. It don't matter if you went to school for it or if somebody validated you for it. It'll shake itself out in the wash. Bro.
And also, if you have something in mind you want to do, but you suck at it, you can get better at it. Because as much as I appreciate that compliment, this is not like a gift I was born with. It's a skill. I work it every day. I try and talk to as many people as I can.
Do you know how many clients I lost when I first started training people?
Oh, I bet.
Because I'm used to athletes.
My way or the highway.
I'm used to like top tier, NFL players, D1 players. When you start personal training people, you're dealing with people that never did a squat. People that don't know how to correctly sit down.
Right.
And to me, that's, at the beginning, that was asinine to me. I'm like, you really don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know how to properly sit.
Right. If I would have come to you and had you train me, that would have been me.
Right away, I'm training people like we going to the NFL Combine. and they're never coming back.
Right. Impress them too hard.
I mean, they love it. They're like, oh, you're a nice guy. And I never heard from them again. So, it's a learning curve for anything.
It
you
is.
Take your lumps with everything. Anything you get into, unless you... Like my grandma used to say, unless you hit the lotto, you're gonna take some lumps.
Yeah.
So
speaking of lotto, here's a funny little thing I've been. So are you invested in crypto or anything like that?
Man, so when I was working in IT, crypto first hit.
What year is this?
This is 2015.
Okay.
16. They were on it. I'm talking about it was a topic of discussion.
Yeah.
And mind you, I'm in IT, so I'm dealing with some smart.
And this is before it's popped. This is like $2-3 grand for a coin.
8 hours a day. They're
talking
about it. And I'm like, I don't want to hear about that. Like, what is this? And then just like 2 weeks ago, Dogecoin or whatever.
Yeah, all that shit. Yeah.
So I mean, I'm into it. I definitely try to keep an ear to it. I've seen people cash out and do well. It's just like anything else, bro. It comes and it goes.
It's the lottery.
It comes and it goes.
Yeah. So the reason I bring that up is like I had this saying like all throughout high school, and I came up with it and like was proud of it, and I'm like, I said it on more than one occasion, and it was this: I would much rather make the lottery than win the lottery. And I'm like, all right, like, and I thought that was, some cool shit to say. And like, this past year has really made me realize, like, you speak into existence, like, a lot of shit you don't realize. Because, like, even though as much as I mean that to the core of me, I would much rather make the lotto than win the lotto. I'm still fucking buying lotto tickets with this Dogecoin and all this other bullshit. Like,
I mean, that's right. I mean, you miss every shot you don't shoot. Bro.
You're absolutely right. And then,
I still go to the casino. I play roulette.
I've been missing most of my shots lately, but at least I'm taking them. Yeah. It's just been wild. Like, I thought, coming into this year, like, I thought I was smart with money. Like, I was smart with business, but I really thought that included money in it too. And like this year has really taken me through the ringer to make me realize, like, you don't know dick about the market. You don't know about dick what's going on out there.
If this year taught anybody anything, it's like at any second it can be gone.
Yes,
like,
yeah.
It don't matter how prepared you are, how intelligent you are, what degree you got. It's robbed everybody. I mean, because we do a lot of, we feed homeless. And,
yeah. I'm glad you brought that up because I did want to talk about your volunteer work.
Met, people that I went to school with that were well off. Not essentially well off, but doing well for themselves before COVID.
You wouldn't think.
I had a 9-to-5 and had a stable situation, and they're homeless. They're the first people when I pull up, they sticking their hands out, and it's humbling. So if it taught anybody anything, which is why it irritates me, it's like, bro, you could be just like the people you drive by. Mm-hmm. Like, you're not exempt.
Right. That's that same as, like, treat the janitor like the CEO. Like, there's not a whole lot. And not even just economic-wise. Like, this whole year has shown us, like, civilization. Right, like, you think society is this Loctite, we got everything nailed, like, oh, it only takes a couple incidences and things get out of hand quick.
Like, we talk about this a lot with my staff and my, because we're a very tight-knit type business. We're not typical. We have real conversations. Kids, parents, what's going on with your, did you get into it with your baby daddy? Like,
right.
We talk, bro, like, because we all humans. And people suck, man. People fail to realize once you in that realm of, like, what's coming, you're good, you don't relate to what people are experiencing. I lose it's not that I'm upset with you because you're very fortunate.
Right.
But you're one of one. What about everybody else over here? And people suck, man. It's just people don't understand. Like, I wish people could step outside of themselves and
have some empathy.
You go live like this for 1 week and see if you can make it. Live like it for one day.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Even not to say, like, we live in America, even our homeless, like, they have cell phones and all that stuff. Right. But, like, literally, just today I'm driving off to my route, and I just look over and no cover, no nothing. Dead middle of the sidewalk, there's someone just sleeping in a sleeping bag. I'm like, God, like.
It's tough.
And
it's tough.
Especially over it. So, I'm sure you're well aware, but there's a lot of, like, I forget what it's called, but like eviction, not notices, but eviction bans. Is that the right word?
It's I think the word is moratorium.
There we go. They're essentially not allowing people to get kicked out on the street. It's illegal.
Still doing it.
But here's the deal. Just like a lot of these businesses don't know that they're out of business yet, there's a lot of people who don't know they're homeless yet.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that don't know about the moratorium.
Yeah.
Residentially, you legally can't say you haven't been paying your rent since it happened, which is understandable because you probably lost your job. Your landlord can't evict you. But a lot of people are not even tech savvy or not even keeping up with, what the latest and the newest laws, and so they do end up getting evicted. And there are tenants
and don't end up fighting it.
There are landlords and companies and that will do it without, expressing like, hey, like, actually we can't do
this. Of course.
All you simply have to say is, hey, you can't do this. But, it's the way it rolls.
Yeah, that's actually, so that kind of brings up a good point. Not to jump back into the mask, and I promise I won't get out of control, but right. So for those of you who don't know, if you're really not a huge fan of wearing a mask in any, private or public business, anywhere really, all you have to say is you have a medical exemption and you're legally allowed to, it's a weird, it kind of sets up a weird precedent, but that it's actually against the law for that company to discriminate against you because you have a medical exemption for a mask. Now, they can. Right. Right. Now, just like, in any other situation, they are still Americans and they can choose to do what they want. They can call the police on you. You can be removed from the premises.
The Karens of the world?
Yes. And they are Karens. Don't get me wrong. You're not going to catch me doing this and making a stink about how you're trampling on my rights and all this shit. But if we're being legitimate, there is legal precedent there for why that is a statement, right? If you discriminate against me, it's ADA, HIPAA, all that stuff, right? So if you are one of those people, I said this last, if you're on some hoe shit and you want to sue a company, you have legal precedent to do that.
I can't.
I know. That's why
you.
I'm speaking for you.
Yeah, thanks. I got to keep it, politically correct. I feel you, though. Yeah.
So, and as as a private business, you have the right to kick them out. As a legal citizen, they have legal precedent to sue you. Again, I'm having a brain fart on what brought that up. Oh, this is what brought it up. So what is messed up about that is so originally that was like, okay, so you couldn't walk into like a Safeway or a Fred Meyer's or anything without a mask and they'd kick you out. Well, because there is legal precedent, you can say, hey, I have a medical exemption and there's nothing they can do about you. That's why in these big places like Fred Meyer's and Safeway and corporate Target, stuff like that, you can walk around without a mask in there, and the only people who are going to say something is another customer. None of the employees are going to say anything to you, and that's what's going on right now. Unfortunately, what that does is it still empowers the other customers to try and enforce it at small businesses. Maybe not something so corporate that has to, and what it does is it ends up hurting the small business owner again, because so say I walk in somewhere without a mask and they got a Karen in there who wants to report it, right? Then the cops are showing up and it's the business owner's fault. He didn't take care of the mask mandate or whatever it is. I don't have to worry about that. So I just said this. So for this Pendleton, right? I stopped at a liquor store. I'm trying to support small businesses. What's the first thing he says? Hey, bud, you got a mask. And I get it. He has to, because if he doesn't, some Karen's going to call the cops on him and they're going to show up. Why aren't you enforcing this? I told him, hey, I have a medical exemption. Do you guys trip or not? And he said, well, we can do like a curbside thing. I'm like, well, that sucks. All right, but I'll go shop at Safeway. Right. Because they're not going to say shit. So now I've taken my money from this small independent business owner and taken it over to the corporate, because I have to stand on my own shit, because I feel the masks are, it's a bigger tool than it. It's not health related. Let me say that. It's not health related. I feel.
Hey, what do you know, right?
What do I know? Exactly.
It's good.
So unfortunately, I have to take that money over to the corporate. I have to spend it with Safeway. You know who didn't say shit? Anybody at Safeway. So it's unfortunate, but like, I forgot where I started with this. Again, dog. I took my memory supplement and everything, so I'd be on point. And my
You're
shit
good,
is just...
bro. No, I mean, it's unfair. The best way to speak on it is, I'm fortunate. I have a hell of a platform. I have hella resources. I'm known. I'm blessed to be able to. If I say something, people gonna hear about it. Just like the other day, I've been banking at U.S. Bank on 38th Street on the east side since I was a teenager.
Okay.
And even then, the branch manager, she's super nice. I'm not gonna say her name. She was like, what sucks is there's so many local, because that's like a Oriental community on the east side off 38th Street.
Okay, yep.
And she was like, there's so many mom and pops that have been cash only for 20, 30 years, and they've thrived. And then COVID hits and they can't.
Do you remember when they weren't accepting cash? You couldn't use cash at the store?
Right. So they can't even, off the rip, they've been in business for 20 years doing great. Now when it comes time to, okay, you can give me $30,000 in relief to keep my business open, I've been doing cash only.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, they got a language barrier.
So they're not. What he means by that is they're not keeping track of their taxes and all that stuff. They're
paying their taxes, but as far as cash only, as everybody knows,
Right. It's
cash only is cash only. So on top of that, you have a language barrier.
That's true too.
And then these people are not privy to social media and watching the news. They've been running this business for 30 years. They have their regular customers, their clientele. They know what's coming in, what's coming out. Then boom, COVID happens.
And exactly. barring a pandemic, a
They're fine.
corner store is going to be open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
And these people,
they know what to
they
expect.
live at their corner store. You know what I mean?
Yes. I grew up at we have the
Right.
Jiffy Mart. Well, I don't
They
want to
live
throw
there.
out your
Yeah.
location, but
They
a
live
couple
there.
blocks
You know
from
what I
yeah,
mean?
he
Yeah.
lived in the back. He lived in the back room. He ate, sleep, woke
Right.
up there. Yeah.
They'll tell you, people at my gym will tell you, I have my own apartment, luckily, but you can catch me a lot of times. Like, I'll just be waking up before I open the doors. I have a couch and a little pull out, and you know. So I feel for those people. I know I'm gonna be okay. You know, I'm very intelligent. I'm resourceful. I have a platform, but you know, I'm gonna use my voice and what I got to speak up for the people that are, you know, as my grandma would say, shit out of luck.
Yeah. Well, good. I'm really glad to hear that, because you're right. That's not everyone's story, and it just it honestly bums me out, because I don't have any other way of looking at it than an intentional move to cut out the small businesses in America. I'm not saying that I'm not saying there's a great cabal sitting in a back room planning step by step, but
For me, it's the same push by like Amazon and Microsoft for the $15 an hour.
Right.
That's only hurting small business competition.
right.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not saying that this was the plan, but if they
One
were,
of
if
my
they're
business partners, man, he says something. Before COVID, it was a balance. It was like, you know, big corps in a small business, it was like an equal balance. It was like 60-40 or something like that.
yeah,
And then right before
Oh,
COVID, the gap was getting real narrow. I mean, because just like our conversation earlier, imagine how many females you know that are doing lashes or, you know, eyebrows, or even, you know, these days it's OnlyFans. There's people making
yeah.
a killing, as they should be.
Yeah.
They're getting paid. They're
Yeah.
making more than master's degree
That
salaries.
puts the power in the people's hand.
So right before COVID happened, it was getting close, and then when that happens, they lose control. So then what do? Something like,
And who comes in and wins all the points for, you know, supporting BLM and, you know, everything else that they got to support? Like,
What do I know?
it's if you weren't paying attention to what happened in this last year, a lot has changed. If you think if a specific day is going to come where the lockdowns are done, we have a lot has changed in the last 2 years. A lot of it behind the scenes as well. Because that was my biggest thing. Was it felt like maybe they weren't doing it on purpose, but if they were to come up with a plan to keep to really axe out the small business owner,
It's effective.
they would have done everything they did
It's
in the
close.
last
It's
year.
effective.
Yeah,
It's effective. So,
and
you know, you just got to grow and adapt, man. I mean, if there's one thing I could say to people, or, you know, from what I've learned, you got to adapt, man. You got to
absolutely.
use your resources, adapt, bob and weave with it, you know, just grow with it, and be aware of what your rights are.
Yes,
Be aware.
big time.
And other than that, man, just luckily you have a platform, or you have a backing of people that support what you do. Because there's a lot of good people out there, man. People want to see small business and people win. They do.
And if you don't have a platform, build one. Build one.
You have no excuse. You kind of have to.
You have to.
You got to meet people in their living room these days, because that's where people are at.
Exactly. And just like you said, a big thing, you have to know your rights. Because just like a cop can pull you over and arrest you for whatever the fuck he wants, and let's not get it twisted, they can do that. They can, they can figure out what they're arresting you for on the way down there.
Oh, yes.
You also, you have rights to fight that in court. So he can, I totally agree. I think there's a lot of people asleep at the wheel, and when they wake up, they're gonna realize they're in a place they had no idea they were heading to. And for the most part, for most people, what's that? Like 98% of people just keep a job, and most of them are for some corporate entity or whatever. I think you'll be fine. But if you are a small business owner and you're not already in business and dealing with what's going on, and you're looking towards the future, like me, like, it's a totally different landscape than before this COVID thing hit. It's totally different.
You gotta keep fighting, man.
You
gotta
absolutely
know what's
do.
going on, man. Be aware.
If you're already on the path, that's the kind of person you are. You love to fight. So I'm not.
Oh yeah, That's how I was raised. This ain't my first rodeo.
No.
You know, so.
But I'm also not a. So America is for sure a land of equal opportunity. It's not equal outcome.
Is it equal?
But when it's not an equal opportunity, I get upset.
It's not. That's what they say. It's
right.
Not equal opportunity. There's a YouTube video. Did I watch it at Wilson or when I was in college? One of my professors, it's a YouTube video and it shows you like whether you're white and you have both your parents, okay, boom, and then you're Asian or black or something, and then like say your parents got divorced, you took like a step back, or you were black, you took 2 steps back, or your dad went to prison, you took and it was like 50 kids. It's one of the best.
Is that where they're on the
ever.
Field?
They're on the field.
Yes, I've seen that.
And then
exactly.
it shows people like, hey,
and there's like
I'm 60 steps behind you at birth.
Right. You're
and
absolutely
right.
right.
It's the best video ever. And I remember she played it. I want to say I was in college and you could hear a pin drop.
Yeah.
And it was the best explanation of like us as, you know, I represent, people don't know, like my mom is white, but when I walk in this room, I'm a black man. You know what I mean? But it was us looking at everybody like, now do you finally understand that you're way at the door and I'm right here off nothing?
No choices
Nothing.
of your own.
Yeah.
No.
But it's the beauty. It's why people like, you know, people celebrate small businesses and, you know, people of color and like, well, like the NFL draft is coming up. It's bigger than making it to the NFL. It's first generational money. Yeah, it's like instead of us getting first generational. It's like when it's just like us celebrating now. Like when we got out of Vietnam, like my white grandpa got the GI Bill in his land. My black grandpa didn't. It's that simple.
Really?
It's that simple.
Okay.
It's facts. So that's why you see the draft.
Yeah.
And
so immediately
like
as
that.
You said that, I got a little irritated.
That's a fact, bro.
Just right off because you're exactly right. Obviously, I never got the African American schooling. There was no reason for someone to teach me. You know what I'm saying?
They don't want to teach you that.
Exactly.
But they'll teach you. You know what they'll teach you about? Christopher Columbus.
All that bullshit.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I used to be excited because my birthday's on his birthday or whatever. It's like October 12th or whatever it was. And then I forgot what age. I was like, hold on, they was raping and stealing and. Like,
yeah, what the fuck?
That?
Where was that school lesson? Like, I didn't get that lesson in school.
That's why you see the best way to put it. My grandpa was the first black Superior Court judge, Pierce County, Judge Frank Cuthbertson. He was pivotal in me growing up.
Wow. So he taught you a lot of your rights.
Yeah, I grew up quick, man. And,
wow.
That's why you see people storming the White House now because information is out there. Just like how he's on the internet, you can't. When we was growing up, you didn't have that.
Yeah, there
Google,
was
I couldn't Google facts.
There was no equal access to information.
And then they only want to put what they want in these books. Now it's out there. It'll be a tweet could go viral.
Yeah.
And then people like back in the day, Ali was one of the only athletes with that platform
Muhammad
speaking
Ali.
up. Now you got LeBron and every NBA team, and it's in your face. So it's like even if you're from that old era of like you don't believe in this, your grandson is LeBron's. His favorite player is LeBron, and LeBron's on TV telling. So you can only fight it for so long, and then that turns into riots. That's why they storm in the White House, because the information is out there, bro. It's a long time coming. We're getting there, but it's gonna be some more shit.
Yeah,
we finally got what we celebrated one cop being guilty of one, and it was a celebration. It was like that was finally one, and then what happens the next day? Somebody dies.
Oh, dude, the same day they killed like 2 people the same day.
So it's a fight, bro. We go on and on about this.
I know it's almost a weird. What am I trying to say?
Excuse me.
It's weird. So, I'm not a huge fan of the cops, to be honest. And it's not people in particular, and I won't go too deep into this.
You want a fun fact that's gonna, excuse my language, fuck you up?
Yeah.
You know where bail started?
Bail? Where?
You know what bail is, right?
Yeah.
Tell me what bail is.
The cash bail. That's what the amount of money you have to pay to get out of jail.
Right. You know where it started? So back when slavery was abolished, right?
Yeah.
say I'm in.
You know where the police started, right?
Oh, I know.
Okay.
Yeah, trust me. This bail, that's gonna mess you up even more. I learned this from my grandpa. He did a presentation in front of all the other Superior Court judges in Pierce County, and they didn't know it. They didn't know. So bail started from like, say, I'm a free slave back whenever it was we abolished slavery.
Yeah.
I'm in Lakewood. I decided to go to Tacoma with you. You my homie. We kicking it. One of the police are, what you doing over here, boy? And I'm like, you know what I mean? I'm free. No, you're not. Throw you in jail. For just, whatever, something random, right?
They'll make it up on the way down.
Where bail comes from? He would bail us out to old boy that owns a house up the street to work. They had to pay us.
So he would pay your bail to get you over there to work until.
So it wasn't slavery anymore. We're getting paid.
I know.
That's where the term bail comes from.
So I'm sure you're aware of the.
So we're a slave, but except now we're getting paid.
God,
that's where, and then he did a presentation in front of the other superiors, and they had no idea.
It honestly is so irritating that we.
That's where bail comes. You ever heard that? That's a fact. A fact. That's where bail comes from. And then you wonder why the system is so fucked up.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, luckily, this information is out, and it's not just coming from someone like your grandpa who, has to be in a certain situation, and you have to be in the certain same room as him while he's giving. This information is available for anyone to Google.
Yeah, Google it. And
I don't know how trustworthy Google is, but you know what I'm saying.
It's a lot of good stuff. YouTube.
But yes, and it's so weird because it is like, it's such a weird conversation dynamic because I'm white, you're black. Like I don't know all the stuff you know. You don't know all the stuff I know. Like,
right.
And it's just, it's irritating that we can't just get. My blood boils when it's not an equal opportunity.
You're a good person, bro. You're a good.
That's what it is.
It's people.
I don't mind if, as long as we have the same equal opportunity, and you fuck up somewhere down the road, that's your fucking.
Yeah, but
if we're not at the same place, like that shit gets my blood boiling.
That's not where we're.
Too, bro. And I don't have the microphone, so I hate to take over, but it's like when I grew up over at fucking Sherman Elementary, we celebrated MLK Day every fucking year, and so I'm growing up with, all right, I want fucking white people, black people, Asian, I don't care what fucking color you are. Here we are standing hand in hand, helping each other up.
Facts.
And then it's like we get out in the real world, and I don't know if this is the same for you, Spencer, but like as a white guy, right? It's like that's what makes my blood boil. That's why it's hard for me to have conversations about race, like with my wife even. And I get heated because it's like I'm like, motherfucker, we should all have these freedoms, but it's so fucking hard to have a.
I am American way before I'm a white person.
About, the different levels that we, and that's where I, as a white guy, can take a step back with my privilege, whatever.
Nah, but you get it though. It's you get it. You get it. It's as simple as people like you, like I said, my mother is white. I'm half white, bro. Like people have, but when I open that door, you're gonna see me. You're gonna see a big black nigga, essentially. But if you really break it down, I'm like, bro, my uncles look like you. My cousins, nephews, nieces, like they look like you. But people don't understand the opportunities that are afforded. And it's as simple as, especially if anything, we've learned anything in the past year, it's your obligation to do your research. It's not up to me to explain to you. You should know by now.
Right.
You should know why we so upset, why we go burn buildings down and riot. Because it's like, I've almost got shot by cops several times in my own establishment from just being me. I just was like, ooh, I don't want to take that route. I don't want to put that out there. I come from that, bro. But it's people, it's just as simple as people just simply did their history and did their education, it would be a better place. But you are raised by, it's still that old era of people, like my landlords and stuff. Like there's still those old 80, 90. They come from that era, and you can't really. And I had this conversation too, because my landlord is an old. He's from that era.
Okay.
You can't blame him. Like he had, he grew up.
That was his schooling.
That's normal to him.
He's born and raised in Tacoma, and he's in his 80s. Then he.
Bro, if I could take you down to where my dad and them are from, Shreveport, Louisiana, Bastrop, Louisiana. It's one road in, one road out.
You said Shreveport?
They call you boy.
Yeah.
They call you the N. It's normal. There's certain parts of town you don't go to.
See,
and that's
like,
still to this day.
And that's all. Yeah, because like again, we're in Tacoma. We're in the Northwest. Like the North was always like little nowhere. It wasn't the South, right? The South is again, I haven't been down there, and I definitely haven't been down there while being black. Like that's
world,
that's a totally,
it's the same
you know what
world.
I'm saying? Like, yeah, it's
it'll spook you. It's one road in, one road out. You know what to say, what not to say. You get, like I said, my grandma had like 9 kids or something like that, and then her mom was a slave, so they grew up in one. It was like this. Like I go down there right now, their house this big, all of them grew up in it.
Wow.
They still live there. There's one high school in the whole city, and if you don't work at the high school, you work at the I think they have a paper mill, something like that. You know what the minimum wage in Louisiana is right now?
$4 or $5.
6. I think $6.15.
Was the national average like $7.30 or something?
One of my cousins lives in Texas. She's making $2 an hour, but she's a waiter at like a Japanese steakhouse, so she gets tips. Yeah. But her wage is $2 an hour.
And this is Louisiana?
This is in Texas and Louisiana. 2021, bro.
Those tips laws, they fuck you up. Good thing we don't have those here.
People
I think they don't have them.
That's why you see a lot of people relocate up here.
Right.
That's how my family got up here.
Yeah.
Me and my brother are the only people born in Tacoma. My whole family is from Texas, Louisiana, because there's no opportunity. And then don't talk about education. Don't talk about that. You better either be really good at football or basketball.
That whole like, what's that in the street? You either make it out in the streets of the sports.
That's a fact.
That's
Other
it.
than that, down there,
yeah.
Or you better have a YouTube page or a TikTok or something.
Well, yeah, those are new options too. Those weren't always around. No. So okay, so I've been thinking about this. So I'll try to be as inconspicuous as possible.
I don't mean to, it is my brother's birthday though, so my mom.
You gotta bounce out of here.
She's gonna start cussing me out here pretty soon.
I seen that. Okay, no, you're all good. I don't want to get to. Honestly, I think we
I'll
accomplished.
come back though. This is what needs to be heard and needs to be said.
And
it's one thing for me to say it, but they'll listen more.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So I think we got what we needed, what we came here for. So I won't keep you all that long. But I do, because I was thinking about this today, and I just want to get your thoughts on it. So I got some buddies who are a couple. White dude, black lady, right?
Oh, he must be smooth if he.
Oh yeah, he's with the shits, yeah.
You gotta be smooth, yeah.
And so his girl has always been like a little woke, nothing crazy, but she's just woke,
aware,
tolerant.
She's aware.
Yeah. She's on the spectrum of aware. And so,
right.
So this was like maybe like a year ago or so, and she was over and like, it's all good. Everything's all good. Like we're vibing and everything. And then she comes over like not too long ago. And so I had loaded up a bowl for me and him while her and my girl were doing their own thing, right? So boys, girls, they go out and smoke or whatever. And then we go back here to smoke. And she's like, oh, you didn't load anything up for me? Like, this is why I don't like straight white men. And I'm like, I've never heard you use those words once in your life. Where is this coming from? What are you talking? Because we never have problems. And it wasn't really a problem. She was just saying it to say it. And I'm like, where does that come from? So I have to ask, like, is the social media really, like, because again.
I'm looking forward to this question. I feel like I know where you're going.
Because again, I love my peoples. It's never been like that. I'm not just saying that because I'm on camera with a mic in front of me, but it literally felt like it came out of, like, it felt like she was indoctrinated with saying something like that. And it's like, is this like, okay, I know.
Let me get the question. Like, I don't phrase it so I can answer this.
I'm trying to figure it out.
Politically correct.
Because I'm just trying to figure it out.
Go ahead, ask me.
Is there a problem in the black community right now with white people specifically?
Absolutely.
Well, that's not the question I was. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not a.
But not only is it brought to the forefront, it is like jabbed in the side to the point where you have to. It's like
it's just it's because when you turn on your TV, what do you see? You see the Derek case.
Right.
It's a thing. It's like, what side are you on?
And by no means am I saying that there's not racism in this world.
I'm one of the most.
But I'm also nowhere near that camp. Like, I got my boys, I got my girls. Like, I don't give a fuck what color you are. But, like, I've definitely seen a rise in shit directed towards, like, just any white person, really. Just
that's the climate of the world.
Yeah,
I
know.
I mean, if I could tell you, so look, I mean, the best way I used to live in Point Reston, right down the street.
Yep.
You know, big ass condo.
Yep. I used to deliver your mail.
Yeah, right.
I was the mailman down there.
I was down there for 3 weeks, got evicted. And I was getting rolled up for things that are absurd. My dogs look intimidating. My music is loud. I think my final violation was I have a 75 Monte Carlo, original 350. The motor's loud. You know, you can't evict anybody residentially. So they evicted me on the grounds of that I physically intimidate somebody because I revved my engine on my way out. Mind you, my neighbors drive Porsche Boxer Sports.
Yeah, I've seen them in there.
You know how it is on there.
5 minutes down there.
They wanted something to get me, and it would be like essentially, and I paid my money was good. I had 2 parking spots. Whoop, 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 whoop. When I come down, I park my car. My neighbors would, you know, be getting in there. They double lock their shit. You know, they see me get out with my little micro bulldog. It looks like a pit bull. Or they see me get out with my little brother, or one of the homies. You know,
you're intimidated
these
by
people
the
I grew up
bullies.
with. Mind you, I'm like, I'm actually your neighbor, and my rent's up. Like, I'm paid off. They double. A little bit, not like that or nothing, but I'm not even that type of person. I'm the type of person to hold the elevator open for the old lady, but they double lock that car, be nervous, or they sit in their car. You know, I peep things.
Yeah.
They sit in their car, wait till I get in the elevator to get out. Yeah, man, it's a thing. Like, it's just as a young, and I'm a younger black guy. It's irritating because it's like best way to put it
just
is,
to clarify, what's irritating?
You know what I tell people? I just happen to look like this.
Yeah.
I can't help it.
So that's exactly.
You know what I love killing people with? I'm actually probably, if you want to sit down, I'm probably a little more educated than you. I'm definitely more athletic.
Probably.
I've been around, and I'm actually more caring and giving. I've done a lot more than you. I just happen to look like this. It's not my fault.
Well put.
But if it's Sunday and you tune in and I got a helmet and shoulder pads on, you click to buy some tickets. But you don't like me. You don't. Yeah, but you don't like when I park my car right next to you. We in the elevator and my door's right next to yours. Yeah. So
I guess the question I've come around to figure out what I want to ask is not. Because I don't have anything to do with what you're seeing on your Instagram or what anybody is getting, you know, input. What do I do in not in a specific situation where someone brings it to me? I can handle that.
Right.
But just in general, what can I do to make it, I don't know if easier is the right word, but just like make it fucking civil. Like, I don't got no issues with somebody, and if they have an issue, it's not with me. It's an in general issue, if that makes sense. It's a white people issue.
It's hard to say it's a white. It's just a people issue.
Right.
We can't. The best way it was put to me, you can't change people before us. They're already stuck in their ways. But we can continue to, like what we're doing right now. You know, these kids these days, they watch podcasts and YouTube and TikToks. The next generation, though, we can change. So we might as well say to hell with everybody older than us because they're stuck in their ways. And that's
Agreed.
Just a fact, bro. They grew up how they grew up, which is fine. It's like
they did the best they could with what they got, but goddamn,
But we can do it's our responsibility to our age bracket and under. Like, nah, this is how we want to live moving forward. We actually all equal. We the same. Actually, you cool as hell. You cool as hell.
I think we're gonna see some cool shit happen.
And that's what you're seeing it. You're seeing it.
Yeah.
You're seeing it because even like running back to when we was in high school, you didn't see NBA athletes and NFL athletes on, ESPN advocating and marching, and you didn't see that. This is new. The shit we're going through, this is history, bro.
This is
Yeah, like we living in, like our grandkids is gonna be like, damn, you went through COVID.
There.
You went through when
you
they charged,
there.
like back when like you watch OJ and shit like that, and it's like, dang, like that really happened. Now it's like, ooh, Derek, like that really, like I lived through that. So it's just like, our responsibility. We can account for us and then who's looking up to us.
Yeah, and setting the example.
And that's it, bro.
Yeah.
And then we keep doing that. Yeah. It ain't gonna last so much longer.
I look back on, like, I don't know how versed you are on, like, the 60s and stuff. I'm sure you're much better versed than I am.
Black states,
at least in some areas. But, like, just as a whole, like, the 60s resemble what we're going through so much right now.
You know, my grandpa told me, he was like, it's sad to see the same shit that I was marching for.
That's taken 80 years to get back to where they were. Yes, that's exactly what the fuck I'm talking about. And we got Cold Wars.
I told my grandpa, I was like, I don't know how you... I would have been one of them. They would have hung me.
Yeah.
Because I'm just not going for it.
I say, so this whole shit.
If you really watch
those
videos, we monitored. I had a Black Panther class in college. It was taught by a Black Panther woman. It was the only class the whole football team showed up to.
Really?
Once a week, 4 hours. And it was about the Black Panthers. And we knew everybody.
Yeah.
And it used to get heated.
Because
it was facts. She had like real footage that you can't Google. And you know how they did them? They strategically planted
they
the
held
FBI
them down.
and killed them.
God.
Yeah. And she taught us a lot, bro.
Not to cut in, but I did just seen who's homeboy up in Seattle. He was like head of the Chop. They made him like the warlord of Chop or whatever. Simone.
I heard about him. I don't know too much about him. He was like a rapper or something like that, right?
Yeah, he is a rapper, and he just had Fred Hampton. I think not Fred Hampton, because Fred Hampton has passed.
I think he's deceased. Yeah, so it's
I
Fred and Bobby Seale that started the Black Panthers.
And is someone close with. I want to say it was like Fred Hampton's son or something. We'll have to get on there.
There's Panthers out there,
yeah. But he was just up in near Seattle. They filmed a whole video. Yeah, just in terms of like the entire climate of like, oh, that's what I was gonna say. All this fucking cop shit. Yes, I cannot believe. So do you remember maybe like? It was probably like 5 years ago, the Philando Castile, where he said, I have a firearm on me, and then got shot for it. Like around that time, there was another incident in like Dallas where a couple guys set up shop on the roof of like a parking lot and started picking off cops. Do you remember anything?
I heard about it.
Okay, so during this whole year,
and that's not cool.
No. I'm not condemning with it. No, but I also this entire year have sat back and thought, how long until someone else? Because this shit was getting out of hand this year. And again, I know you got to go. We're not gonna get on that, but
you're fine. Listen, trust me. Like I have a concealed carry. Everybody knows I have a concealed carry.
We keep the blickies in the studio.
You know, I do it. You know, I'm legal.
Yes.
Even still, like. As legal as I am, and I get nervous when I get pulled over. Like,
right,
my
being legal.
Like, yeah. Do you have a weapon in the car? And I'm like, you know, when they pull you up on the police scanner, they see that.
Yeah, they're asking questions. They know the answers to.
If you have a concealed carry, if so, what kind of firearm you have registered under your name? They see all. They have too much information.
Yep.
So, but even still, like I'm legal, and I get nervous. I'm like, damn, do I? In my right context of mind, do I lie? And say I don't, just to avoid what that situation could escalate to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I shit myself down there.
Me as somebody who's never experienced that or dealt with that goes, you know, that's where reform needs to step in. Specifically around the way that situations are handled.
There's a stock out there. There's a stock out there that you could invest in, bro. That it's the police technology. I'll tell you it off camera because I want to keep my. But it's literally the technology, and when they pull up your shit, they see everything, and really only this much. My grandpa did it was like I forgot the name of it, but it was the thing he pulled together everybody. It was on the hilltop like 2 years ago. It was tribal police, Tacoma police, the sheriff was there, and community members, and then me and some of my best friends, which 2 of them are in the NFL. We did like a skit. It was like a scenario, like we stole something. Cops pulled up. It was a youth and law forum.
Good. That's good because that actually is like legitimate circumstances that can happen. And teach people how to deal with the cop on both sides when they're approaching you and what they're thinking as well.
As a judge, he showed like all of our sentences were so different.
See, that's the kind of shit right there that changes lives. That changes how you look at shit. Because if all you think of the cops as someone who's arrested you, because that's generally how I think of cops.
I think dope ass cops. Bro.
Me too.
I know some.
Don't get it twisted. I got a couple good ones, but when your job title is law enforcement, that's your job. Your job is not to, protect and serve the community. Your job is to enforce laws, and so you need to know both, all sides of it. When you're the one in the car who's getting pulled over, you need to know how the cop is thinking when he's approaching your car. And then when you get arrested and you get charges placed upon you, you need to know how that rolls throughout the judicial system. Like,
people don't know, bro. There's some good. Trust me, I've done a lot of community outreach, a lot with police officers. I train them. I'm very close to some of them. One of them is my aunt. She's like one of the few black female cops on the staff. It's very simple, man. It's just the basic rights of humanity and just judging people for what they are and then whatever their action was, not what you perceive them as. But what's sad, it'll be another couple hundred years before we get past that. Right?
I was going to say, like, I doubt it will be this generation, but I know we're making progress.
As much as, like, I can't wait to have a son, I don't want to introduce him to this world.
Yeah.
Like I would shit on myself knowing that I had to let my son go out to school or out to drive without me being there.
Right.
It's my biggest fear in the world.
So I've got an almost 2-year-old son, and I feel the same way. I don't have any quarrels bringing him into this world, because even if I waited 10 years, it's still going to be the same world. Like I'm going to bring my son in, but I'm going to train him and get him ready for what this world is. And that means maybe not putting him in the public school system. It may be my own curriculum for him.
I respect
and
that.
I get weird looks for it, but I don't think people are going to do the same things I'm doing.
What are they teaching? Especially now, they with COVID and virtual.
I don't know if they're teaching them
like,
anything.
They say that the equivalent to A is a C minus or something.
Well, and what the fuck are we doing in terms of education amongst the world? Like, I don't think our schooling system is really even on that.
They're not teaching.
Dick.
But what do I know? I don't know nothing, man.
I think you know more than you're
You guys
letting
are
on.
onto something, man. Whatever you guys are doing, bro, keep doing what you're doing.
Well, good.
As much as it takes people like myself and, black leaders and things of that nature, it's really not up to us. It's more...
Well, it's up to whoever's delivering the message, right?
Irritated with you, like, oh no, and you're like, no, like,
nah,
this is what's right.
Exactly.
So what you guys are doing is powerful.
Beautiful, dude.
It's important.
I appreciate that.
Important.
I'm super glad we got this in.
Yeah.
I don't think we could ask for any more of this. I know you got somewhere to be.
I'll come back. It's my brother's birthday.
Tell your brother I said happy birthday. We'll let you get out of here, brother. Honestly, this has been a pleasure. We'll have you back on anytime you're available.
Yeah, for sure,